the hardest 3.5, 4 years of our marriage. One, we had twins. Two, I transitioned out of football into the business sector, which was completely and totally unexpected. But relationally, it was, man, I'm not going to say sabotage, but because the level of stress I had, I never took care of myself. It was pouring out to work. And in the same conversation I had every time we fought was, I don't know what else you expect me to do. Like there's nothing else. I don't have anything left to give. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm giving everything I have. Well, yeah, because I don't have very much to give, because none of what I was doing was reinvesting back into my health, was reinvesting back into my emotional, mental health. And welcome to the Darren Woodson Show. So, guys, this is a topic today that we're gonna share with each other and kind of bounce some ideas off of each other that has been something to me over the last 4 years. This is a conversation I wish that I'd have been able to listen to and take some advice and have a conversation. I think in culture today, there's this righteousness and this honor in being selfless, right? And serving others. And we talk about it all the time. We talk about, serving your spouse and being there to be the best husband or best wife that you can be, to be the best father or mother that you can be, to be the best employee and all those. And those are all true. Yeah. Those are all true. The challenge, I think, that culturally is we strive so much to be those that we neglect self, which then in turn doesn't allow us to reach the potential of being the best spouse you can be, the best parent that you can be, the best partner, the best employee, the best student, the best athlete. So today, what we're going to talk about, which may be contrary, I think, to popular belief, stop focusing on others and focus on yourself. And it's not a, hey, screw everybody else, be selfish, just do you, throw the middle finger up to the world. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, in order for you to be able to serve those that you love or serve those that you want to help, whether it's a community or it's your job or your employees, whatever it may be. If you do not take care of self, if you are constantly pouring your cup out and not refilling the cup, how are you ever going to offer somebody else another drink if your cup is always empty?
Oh, man, this is by far the hardest topic for me.
Yeah.
This is like my weakness. When we brought up the topic, I was like, oh, shit. You brought this up, Tyler, for me. Yeah. I suck at this, man. I suck at pouring into myself. I figure out ways to stay so busy throughout the day of doing things that, not only, helping others, but helping myself get to a certain point. And I think I think this has started for me as a kid, because all I knew was to work, right? When I was 12 years old, I was helping my uncles lay carpet. I was always working to get. And I've never, even to this day at 52 years old, I never take that time to say, all right, let me sit back here and just, watch TV or just relax or find a hobby. I don't have a hobby that I can honestly say that is my time away from family, friends, kids, work. I just don't have it because I've never taken the time to do it.
Well, and think about it. We've gone so far one way. When you do have that time, how uncomfortable do you feel?
I don't feel right, man. I can tell you right now, I don't feel, I feel like I'm being selfish. I feel like I'm not, helping. I got to be doing something. Yeah. Like, okay, if I'm sitting there and it's quiet and it's just me alone, I'm not winning. I'm not helping. I'm just blah. I'm just like, I'm in neutral. And I don't like the feeling of being in neutral. Yeah. And I think part of it, someone tell me one time, you know what it is? I had a buddy that I played with, a good friend of mine named Floyd Field, best friend, says, look, you probably don't like yourself. And you ever heard that before?
Mm-hmm.
When you spend time by yourself, you got to get to know yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So all your flaws start to show up and all that. Maybe that's why I haven't gone through that process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like parents, right? Is you're married, you've got kids, but you don't ever actually have those conversations. You don't dig into deep topics and understand certain things about each other. And then the kids then go through school and they graduate, go off to college. Now you're like, wait, who are you? Like we can't talk about the kids anymore. Like those conversations on coordinating schedules and all that, like that's not our life anymore. Okay, well, we've ran through every Netflix show. Now what? Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
So let's do our best to do this. I want to go back to something, Tyler, you said a second ago, which I disagree with, is you said society is all about other people and pouring into other people. I totally disagree with that. I think society, now maybe that just speaks to what you're paying attention to, and kudos to you if that's what you're hearing. I totally disagree. I think society today is teaching us how much about us, how much about me this life really is.
Yeah.
It's all about me. Get mine. I'm going to take care of number one.
Yeah.
That's what I see when I see inside.
Yeah.
So what I want to make the distinction is that's not what we're saying here. We're saying actually you need to pour into yourself and take time daily, weekly, monthly to pour into yourself so that you can pour into other people.
Yeah, and I think, and you're right. I agree. Everything out there is like, get yours, you start this business, make this much money, drive this car. I get it. Like, yes. But I think it's the badge of honor, right? Like the people that serve everybody else, those are the people we should aspire to be like, right? And you look at all the top motivational speaker, whether it's Gary Vee or it's Carlos Reyes or it's Andy Frisella or whoever it is, right? It's like they do so much for other people. They mentor other people. They share with other people. They give advice. They coach. They do this. They do this. They do this. One of the things, and I don't know if they do a good enough job talking about is, and Carlos, when we had him on the show, he talked about it, right? How he does kind of retreats and stuff like that. Right. But how much are you really pouring into yourself to refill that cup so that you can, you can help? So I think, go ahead.
No, that's a great distinction. And Darren, you said you struggle with this. I don't at all. Now, maybe I'm too far on the
selfish.
Maybe I'm too selfish, but it does get harder as you have more kids and career. I get it, but I have always known the benefits and why it's so important to take time for myself. And so that's what I think, I just think of what does quote unquote focus on yourself mean? To me, all it is taking time away from the rat race, taking a second to recharge, knowing that this moment, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes a day. If you're telling me you can't have 10 minutes, you're lying. Maybe it's 10 minutes every day that you take time to get away from the rat race, get away from the noise, and just focus on recharging your batteries. Because doing that, recharging yourself is going to allow you to actually perform better. Yeah. It's just like in physical fitness. You don't train balls to the wall every single day. Right. You're never going to grow and repair when you do that.
Yeah.
There has to be planned moments of rest and rest periods and rest intervals so that you can get the benefits of that training. So Darren, you say you go hard all the time and you're always thinking about other people. And that's one of the things I admire about you. What I would argue is you're never giving an opportunity to rest and recover.
All right.
You're never giving yourself an opportunity to recharge those batteries so that because it sounds counterintuitive. It sounds counterproductive. Yeah. Wait, you mean if I be selfish for 10 minutes and I take time to myself and I'm not accomplishing something, you mean I can actually be better? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. True.
But it's the reality. Take a second to recharge and reset. You're going to be able to pour into other people. And that's a very hard concept if you've always been told your whole life, hey, it's not about you, be in other people.
Right. And I think, and you've got three extremes sitting here on the show, I think you've got Darren, who you have a heart to like help other people, but also you've got that bad combination of everybody asking you to take a part of it. So you've got like the worst, and I don't say worst, but the hardest situation to deal with, because like you do want to help people and then everybody wants your help and wants to take it. So it's really hard to have that distinction. Like I've got to create boundaries, and I've got to say, okay, hey, this is what I can give and this is what I can't give. That's hard to do. Yeah. Whereas I think people care less about me doing things. So, but I still want to, right? And I to a fault, I will sacrifice things that I need for me. And I shared this in another episode on one of our Friday questionnaires is I will accommodate someone else before I ever take care of myself. Always. Yep. And it always goes that way. And Ben, I think.
Well, before you get there, I will say, and I say this all the time to people, and Tyler's not even in the room when I say this. He is my first call at 3 a.m. if I get stranded somewhere. That's who you are. You are a giver of your time and your energy and your effort, and that's one of the things that makes
Darren
you who
can't
you
change
are.
A tire, you know that.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. AAA, if they don't answer, I'm calling Tyler.
Because I can also bring a McKinney wrench.
Yeah. Inside joke. No, but to your point, but what time do your kids wake up?
6:37.
Okay, and what time do they go to bed?
7. Okay. On the dot.
So 6:30.
Yeah, doors are locked.
That's awesome. Good for you. But the point is 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's easy, because I do this too. It's easy to compare my schedule to Darren's and think nobody really cares about me. They don't need my time. But you got 4 kids.
Yeah.
So at 6:30 a.m. you are needed.
Yeah.
Until 7 p.m. you are needed. Mm-hmm. So you've got a very short window in those 24 hours, because you need sleep, right?
Yeah.
You've got a very short window. I'm the same way. As soon as Cooper was up this morning at 6:15, Daddy, where's my breakfast? Daddy, he needs me at 6:15. He doesn't go to bed till 8:30. I know, bad parenting. I get it.
No, it's
8:30. Mine is 9 something.
It depends. You know,
You're making your
you're a horrible parent.
You're making your life way harder than it needs to be.
But see, here we
No
go
wonder
again.
you don't have time.
No, but here we go again. Like I'm going so hard and so all day that I want to spend time with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's times where I'm keeping him up because I want to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't spent enough time with you. I need to get this in. And then we put him down. And then my wife is looking at me like,
now where's my time?
Where's my time?
That's the thing, man.
Darren, why are your pants still on?
That's the thing.
They stay on.
Because work gets the lion's share of everybody's day.
Yeah.
That's unless you it gets the lion's share of everybody's day.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah.
Then you got to fit time in for kids. Then you got to fit time in for your spouse. Because if you forget about your spouse, trust me, I do this. I'm the worst. Darren always gives me crap.
Yeah.
Have you taken your wife on a date yet? No, I still haven't.
Yeah, you still haven't.
That's
a damn shame.
It's horrible.
Dude. It's 2 weeks.
But there's so many people. So what have I? What do I do? Because like I said, this is actually something that I take very seriously.
Yeah.
And again, I get it. It sucks. I don't always like waking up at 4 a.m. I get it. But it's literally the only time in my day nobody in the world needs me. Not one single human being needs me at 4 a.m.
Right.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
So I have to knowing that, I have to make that time.
So what are you seeing? What are you seeing? What are the benefits you're seeing?
To me, it's clear. I'm clear about my vision for what I want to accomplish whenever I sit and take time for myself. I'm clear about my goals. I'm clear about who I am. We talked about earlier on a Feel Good Friday about who are you. I'm able to identify more. But maybe the biggest thing is I get to be me.
Yeah.
I get to create. I get to be creative. I love painting. I love art. I haven't done it in a long time, and I'm probably not going to paint at 4 a.m. in the morning, but it gives me an opportunity to be creative.
Yeah.
It gives me an opportunity to explore all my thoughts and my hopes and my dreams and all those cliche words.
Yeah.
But if I'm just waking up at 6:15 when Cooper comes and wakes me up, and then I go to bed at 9 or 9:30 right after he's gone to bed and right after I spend time with Whitney, when have I ever during the day taken any time for myself?
So literally, for 2 years you always talked about it, right? Get up earlier. And then we had Nir Ayal on, right? And the scheduling. And for some reason it took that conversation with him to click on the scheduling aspect. And here's the other point about waking up earlier. Yes, there's something about that quiet. There's something about that time that like, okay, I can be undistracted for that time, and I can move through, X, Y, Z in that time frame that I want to get accomplished. But here's the thing though that I've found is the rest of the day, it just falls into place better. Right? You like, for example, in real life, this morning I had a meeting. We had a meeting at the house at 7:15, and I didn't go work out before. Usually I'm up at 5:15 and then I go work out and then I start my day. I have already felt like my day is in front of me and I can't catch up just because I woke up at 6:30 when the kids woke up. And you talk about that and just like literally like the freedom. So now I've already got to check myself because I know I'm going to be stressed when I get home at the end of the day. And same deal. I didn't pour into myself this morning, do something that really is rehabilitating for me and working out, which I neglected for 3.5 years. And now how am I going to be able to pour into my kids tonight? Because I've got more work I got to do, and I got this and I got that. So to your point, that's the creating time for yourself is paramount.
Yep.
Is absolutely paramount.
Yeah. And we're going to get in at the end. What are some things you do in that time with yourself? But one of the things I think of, the benefits, if you will, is being physically capable, being in better shape, being more fit allows you to live a longer life, right? That's pretty obvious, right? What's one of the leading causes? Some leading causes of death are stress-related deaths.
Yep.
So if you're never giving yourself time to be physically active and move, and you're never taking care of your physical body, your quote-unquote temple, you're not going to live as long of a life. That's fact. You're not going to live as long because you're a constant stress, you're a constant go mentality. You never taking the time. Now, there's little nuances that we can get into in another topic about, well, if you don't sleep, that's also stress. If you're waking up early to work out,
so what
if you're waking up early to work out, you're actually negating the benefits.
We're talking about creating time. So what's one of the first things people give up first? It's sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because sleep doesn't. It has small, like it takes away from you in the short term, like you feel groggy.
Yeah.
But sleep's one of those things that the effects of it you don't feel until years later.
I can push through it with
I can push through it. And part of this culture teaches you sleep when you're dead.
Yeah.
You don't need sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
Sleep is the cousin of death.
Exactly, right? What are you doing wasting all that time sleeping? Right?
Yeah, true.
So you combine the fact that, well, I'm not accomplishing anything when I sleep, so I guess I'm going to take away that. And culture's telling me that, hey, I got to work hard. I can sleep later when I'm dead. You combine those two things, and that's what happens. You get
but again, that's a prime example of making sure that you are investing in yourself, taking care of yourself, focusing on yourself. Because yes, you're right. Okay, hey, I got 4 hours of sleep last night, or I got 3.5 hours of sleep last night. I could still function the next day. I got through the day. But here's what happens: you start stacking those. It starts affecting your metabolism. It starts affecting your recovery. It starts affecting your cognitive ability, right? So the metabolism, let's just like quickly on that is, okay, so now you are not burning calories at the same rate because just metabolically you're not in the same state. So that adds more weight, which then adds to restlessness or lethargic. You're not as effective during the day. Now it just compounds, right? Yep. So there's so many things, and we have a sleep episode. You can go back and listen to that. But there's so many impacts of sleep. That's just one thing, making sure you take care of yourself. Like there's gotta be a boundary around certain things in your life that you have to protect. And look, I'm not telling you like you have to get 8 hours. I'm not an expert. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to be. But like, sleep is something that people so quickly just sacrifice, and the compound effect of it is so counterproductive to what you think you're trying to do by staying up later or being up earlier.
Yeah, and we're focusing a lot on sleep, but I mean, really, you could still neglect yourself and get 8 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
You could still be waking up at, you go to bed at 10 o'clock and wake up at 6:30. There's your 8.5 hours, and yet you're still not spending any time on yourself.
But it doesn't have to. I mean, look, I think there's a lot of it has to do with. I think when you look at your story, Ben, it's more so you're getting up early in the morning and you're spending that time alone, right? You're getting that time by yourself. But it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't.
It can be during the day.
It absolutely could.
Go to like there's times where I have opportunities just to sit back, maybe go into a room. And the times that you've seen me, Tyler, go into a room in our office and just sit by myself and actually get things done, right? But there's also times instead of
hold on. You said get things done.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
what do you mean by that?
Well, I'll get work done. But what I can be doing is going into that same room and getting 15 minutes.
Gotcha.
Of meditation.
Yeah.
Or just time alone to start thinking about things just by myself without having to accomplish something.
Yeah.
And I think that's like some of our audiences out there. It doesn't have to be early in the morning. It doesn't have to be late at night. It can be during the day. You get that time in.
It can be. It's all about what fits you personally.
Yeah.
For me, I've found, like I said, nobody in the world needs me at 4 a.m. So for me, that's what I've found best. I find that there's a lot of people pulling on my time at noon.
Yeah, 10:30
or
a.m.
at 9 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm a horrible night person. So I don't want to be spending any time at night.
Yeah, so let's get back to the benefits of it because I think it's really important. And then I think there's a handful of tools that we can all share that have worked for us and ways we implement those, the way we prioritize those that I think can help. But from a benefit standpoint, I also stress, right? When you focus on yourself, that to me is number one. There's physical ailments that come from that, but then there's relational ailments that come from that. Like I know for Tiffany and I, it's been the hardest 3.5, 4 years of our marriage. One, we had twins. Two, I transitioned out of football into the business sector, which was completely and totally unexpected. But relationally, it was, man, I'm not going to say sabotage, but because the level of stress I had, I never took care of myself. It was pouring out to work. And in the same conversation I had every time we fought was, I don't know what else you expect me to do. Like there's nothing else. I don't have anything left to give. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm giving everything I have. Well, yeah, because I don't have very much to give because none of what I was doing was reinvesting back into my health, was reinvesting back into my emotional, mental health, recovery. I mean, all of those things. Yeah. And so stress, relationships benefit from it. Most importantly, benefits relationship from it. Physical, right? Physically, like it's insane how quickly your body responds to actually taking care of it, whether it's from a nutrition standpoint, from a physical activity standpoint, or from a recovery standpoint. How quickly your body responds, because we neglect everything, and then we're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have a salad for lunch. I'm a salad for dinner. Well, guess what? Like your body's not gonna respond just to like reducing calories, and it's not gonna translate to what it is. So those three things are very, very important benefits. But to me, and this may go along with stress, but like imagine taking a 50-pound weight vest off of your shoulders and realizing, damn, I've been operating weighed down for longer than I can remember. Imagine that feeling. And I describe it like this. Imagine it feels sometimes when you start investing in yourself like you've been in a steam room for 20 minutes and it's hard to breathe and like it's just stuffy, and then you walk out and then you have this fresh air and you're like, like that would be the feeling that I would describe when you're actually investing in filling your cup back up. Because now when you have that lightness, when you have that capacity to breathe in fresh air, now you can share that with others. Yep. But not until then. If you're constantly living in that steam room.
All right, let me ask you something. I got to ask, just straight up. When you're in that season, though, like I'm in a season right now, I'll be honest with you. I mean, straight up, like I got 3 companies, 3 businesses that I'm running. This podcast being another one that we're all 3 involved in, right? And we have another one at ESRP. And I have another one at Counterfine, right? I'm in a season right now. And there are a lot of listeners that are out there right now who are probably going through the same type of season that I'm going through, where you are, and I said it when I walked in here today, this is not a marathon to me right now. Right now it's a sprint. It is a full-on sprint. How do we talk to that person that right now is that young entrepreneur that's up all freaking day starting a new business? Ain't sleeping.
I think it even more so, even more important, even in those sprints, right? The last leg of the 400, right? You got the straightaway that you got to go. You got to get this thing going. Most important is you have to take care of yourself. And one of the ways that I've found to be phenomenal to take care of yourself is go to a spa, go grab a nice dinner, go just get out of town and just like unplug from work, right? And a great place to do that is Choctaw Casino and Resort.
Boy, you're good. Boy, my dude killed that. I saw him going that way too, boy.
That was good.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, look, y'all laugh.
Yeah.
Y'all laugh.
Yeah,
y'all laugh. But here's the thing though, is going up to just up to 75 Durant. It's 35 minutes from my house.
Yep.
It's a little over an hour from your house in Dallas proper.
Yep.
That is a place that you can go and you can experience the new expansion that they just did. It's like Vegas style new resort, brand new casino. They've literally doubled the size. You've got pools, you've got spas, you've got concerts. If you like music, nothing heals the soul like music.
Not only that, man, but this summer, we're in the month of June, July. This summer, if you're looking to take the kids somewhere, take them to the new pool. Take the wife out to a spa, and I'm talking to myself because, and Ben, I'm talking to you. This would be a great idea for you. Yeah. How about a weekend?
Why don't you set this up
Choctaw
for me?
Casino Resort. I'll set this up for you.
Hey, why don't you at 4:30 when you're doing your stuff? Why don't you just get online and you just plug in?
No, we got you on this.
Point.
We got the connection up there at Choctaw.
Yeah. Give me the pimp suite.
But y'all, like, and I can't emphasize it. I'm the worst, and I've just neglected getting away, just unplugging because I've always got to be in it. I've always got to be available. It is so important to go unplug, and there is a great place so close that it is world-class amenities, and I promise you will not recognize it if you go up there and you try it. I guarantee it.
Want to take a quick break from the episode and tell you guys about a brand new partnership. Because you guys listen to the podcast, companies are now coming to us and wanting to be a part of this. And that's 100% because of you guys. So wanted to tell you about an exciting new partnership.
Man, this is a great partnership, and it's a long-time friendship that I've had with Choctaw Casino and Resort, located in Durant, Oklahoma, just across the Red River here. Easy drive, great people, great resort. The new renovations going on. Got a fantastic pool that's outside. So if you got kids, if you have kids, or if you just want to get away alone with your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, your partner, doesn't matter what it is, go over to Choctaw Casino and Resort. Have a great time. Again, we always talk about relationships on this podcast. We have a great relationship with Walter Allen, who's over there, and the people over at Choctaw Casino have just been wonderful.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't have a wife and a girlfriend at the same time.
Yeah, a little bit of both, but have a good time anyway.
But yeah, like Darren said, go check them out, Choctaw Casino and Resort. Now back to the episode. Back to what you were asking, Darren. And I always relate a lot of things back to physical fitness. And you said, if you're in a dead sprint, how does this apply to you? And my answer to that would be sprinters, to get the maximum out of that sprint, they have to recover, right? Mm-hmm. Say you're wanting to sprint a 200-meter dash. To run your absolute fastest 200-meter dash, you have to. There's an ability there to recover.
Right.
So if you're in a time of life where you are in a sprint, because I feel that way as well, and a lot of my me time has been neglected lately. But I have to understand that times of recharge and reset are only going to make my performance better. I know it doesn't feel like that. I know it doesn't feel like me taking time for myself every day is going to actually help me perform better in my 3 businesses if I'm you, Darren.
Yeah. Right.
But just understand, just like in physical fitness, you have to have that time to recover.
So what are...
And we're not talking an hour. Like for me, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's an hour and a half.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get to.
Some people don't get that. Some people don't have that.
Yeah.
I think you can. I've experienced this personally and research I've done. I think you can get benefits from a literal 5 minutes of silence.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But literally, it only takes 5 minutes of what, if you just shut everything off and you didn't think about anything else, what 5 minutes could do to reset and recharge. And we talked a second ago about the benefits. One, Tyler, you did a great job of listing those off. Another thing I wrote down, I'm constantly thinking about how can I improve? How can I get better? right? If I'm sitting idle, I'm not improving. And that is a detriment at times.
That was gonna be mine.
That propels me and it helps me in a lot of ways, but in other ways, my brain is always continuing to go.
Because what do you do in your you time? What do you listen to?
Exactly. So I spend a lot of that me time reading books, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, trying to better myself, trying to learn about business.
That are geared about learning, progressing, being better.
So
and doing
for
this.
me, part of that me time is getting away from such a performance-based mentality of I'm wasting time if I'm sitting here doing nothing.
God, man, that's a fine line, man.
It's a fine line,
God,
but giving myself
fine,
5 to 10 minutes of just, hey, here's 10 minutes. I don't have to perform for anybody.
Yeah.
I can just be me for just a second. It's okay.
And that is exactly, like, that's the feeling I have. It's like the lights always have to be on.
I'm the same way.
There's an on switch for everything, whether it be a speaking engagement, whether it be on a Zoom call, I feel like I'm on all the time. And to turn that switch off, that could probably be scary for me.
It is scary.
And that's a road that I have to go down at some point, because you're right, because I'm running out of gas, man. Like,
Well, I've told y'all this, and I brag about it, thinking these guys are going to think I'm really cool. I don't really watch much TV anymore.
All right.
I don't really watch games or sports because I'm sitting there thinking, this isn't doing anything for me. This isn't impacting me. This isn't benefiting me watching dudes on the TV play a sport. That's not. Now, what I need to remind myself is that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be
On
and performing like you're saying, Darren.
Right.
It's okay. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue that, hey, TV should be my alone time. I'm not saying that.
No. Yeah.
There's better ways to spend my alone time.
For sure.
But I've told you that before. Like, I think it's a badge of honor to say I don't consume anything unless it's going to make me better.
Yeah.
And that can be a detriment.
That's right.
That can actually cause more stress than relieve stress.
Right.
That's right.
So I think I think, Darren, you and I struggle with that, and Tyler, I'm sure you do as well. And you just said it, Darren. You're always having to be on. You're always having to be on.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of this is realizing that you don't always have to be on.
And let's be honest. It's hard. Like, I mean, you're talking about it right now, how hard it is to really just set aside time for yourself. Because you can always say, like, oh, I'll get to me. Don't worry. I'm strong enough. I'll get to me.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that you're taken care of and you're taken care of. I'll get to me. But let's talk about those people that are listening that feel like, okay, hey, this is something that I struggle with. I mean, let's put it out there. Why? Why don't we spend time on ourselves? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, but it's I think it's important to call those things out and realize that those are false motivators to stay busy, to keep progressing and keep climbing that ladder. Like, it is counterproductive to listen to these things. And I think one is business. I think for a lot of us, and maybe there's some stay-at-home parents out there that this may not be the case, but here's the deal: you're running a business at home. Right. Like, let's not separate the two.
Ask my wife who stays at home when the last time she had 10 minutes.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You don't get it.
So we talk about, like, the day-to-day business stuff, right? Creating an income or creating a household that is functional and is ready to go. It is never ending. Is absolutely never ending, because now with these phones, we are accessible 24 hours a day. People think that they can get a hold of you. And I'm guilty of it. I'm like, dude, I shot you an email at 6 p.m. Why haven't you responded to me? I got to get something to my client. Like, and we all think this. And so that's part of it. Business is one. Two, I think kids is, we as a society, not only are we teaching our kids that performance equals value, but we're falling into that too as parents, because now my kid's got to be in all these things, and I've got to take them everywhere, and I've got to be at this sporting event, I got to be at this performance, I got to be at that, I got to be at school, I got to be at this nighttime, event, whatever it is. Yeah. So that's another area that I feel like is something that's pulling us, and those are just physical things. But the emotional things that you mentioned is, there is a negative connotation if I'm still, then I'm losing ground and everybody's passing me up.
Right, you're neutral, bro. Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's passing me up.
Yeah.
And again, look at any NASCAR race, look at any IndyCar race, if you don't pull over and take a pit stop and you don't change those tires and refuel, everyone's going to pass you. I mean, there couldn't be a clearer metaphor for life. If you are not pulling over and getting everything taken care of and stopping, you are going to lose ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and you can come up with so many excuses. I mean, there's so many things as to why.
Yeah. Yeah. The selfishness piece again. You grow up being taught, hey, think about others, pour into others. And I love that. I'm glad that was a value that was instilled in me.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, you forget to be able to serve other people, to be able to be unselfish. You've got to take a little bit of time.
That's right.
So as we wrap this up, what are some tips? What are some?
Yeah, I'm the wrong person.
Yeah, I was say, I guess Darren, we can. Just
I'm
tell
listening.
You.
I'm trying to get some tips.
What are some ways that you can start implementing a little bit of quote unquote me time into your daily routine?
I think one is you've got to be intentional. You've got to set boundaries around, and you've got to protect time, whether that's on your calendar or you are just mentally strong enough to say, okay, look, at 6 o'clock, no more business. I've got to invest in. I've got to be present with my kids. From 6 to 8 a.m. That's my time. That's all I'm doing. You've got to be very, very intentional. So a couple things. I'm reading a book called "Get Your Life Back" by John Eldredge. It's a faith-based book. It's absolutely incredible. And there's a handful of things. I mean, the entire book. I mean, the first half of the first chapter. Literally, I'm like, okay, he wrote this book for me. Like he listed everything, like when we're short with our spouse because we're stressed and there's not enough time in the day and I feel like I'm letting everyone down and all these emotions that he's talking about. It's like, oh my gosh, that's totally me. That's 100% me. And this entire book. And so if this is something that, okay, look, your faith is something that's important. And look, even if it's not, there's so many valuable things in there that are great. And there's other books out there, but the intentionality that I mentioned, go seek those resources out. We are not the experts. We're not pretending. We never pretend to be the experts, but there are resources out there that allow you to get your life back by investing in yourself. But so I'm going to just a couple things that he shares in this book that really helped me is one, talk about that pause during the day. There's tons of apps out there that give you the ability and a reminder to say, okay, look, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. for 1 minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, I'm going to pause and let all the noise outside of you just go away for a minute. And you are just in your head. Right. When you say, hey, I go in the room to do some work. Okay, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, but pause. But like the recharge that provides is invaluable. And that's something for me that has been unbelievable.
Have you applied it?
Yeah, because I get an alert at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., the app. It's so literally.
It pings you,
pings
exactly.
Me. I've got to give a pause. And there's a competitive nature to it because you got to do it's like, you've got to do a streak of so many days in a row for you to go to a longer pause. So it's like, I got to get to that longer pause. So I've got to do it. It's been incredible. I mean, I would say 4 out of the 5 days during the work week, I'll do it. I mean, there's just some days that I'm in a meeting or something, but I try to do it. But pausing in the middle of the day when you don't think that you can, you realize, okay, just a 5-minute pause, the day still survives. It still moves forward.
Yeah.
So that's one. 2 is nature. And not everyone is like a big nature. I love the outdoors. I love doing things. But here's the thing. Whether you're in Dallas, whether you're, in LA, New York, Chicago, anywhere in between those, is you can appreciate nature in some form. Yeah. And here's why. Is there's a peace and there's a grandness to nature, right? Whether you're looking at mountains, whether you're looking at prairies, whether you're looking at oceans, whatever it may be, there's a grandness to it that puts things in perspective, and you recognize, I don't have the ability to carry the world on my shoulders. This is a much bigger world than I can ever carry, and recognizing it, whether it's a bird flying in your backyard, but like again, that's that time in your head and recharging and saying, okay, look,
so true,
it's a perspective shift.
That is so true. Like that is a part of the day that I enjoy the most. And I've been, crazy as it's kept, and maybe I'm getting that is when I'm working out in the morning and I just go for in between sets, just running down the street.
Yeah.
At 6:15 in the morning, and there's no one on the street. Mm-hmm. It's quiet. You got nature.
I think those big trees, right?
Trees. Yeah, it's like that is, man. That is very refreshing.
Yeah. It's just a level of peace.
Yeah. Well, there's scientific research to back that, which we're having a guest on here in a few weeks who wrote a book called The Comfort Crisis, and he talks about it in there.
Really good book.
They found even having a plant in your office does something to your brain chemically to connect you to that nature and just the benefits of nature. Yeah, absolutely. I wrote down, I think the first thing I wrote down, I want to be better at this one. What I typically do is we talked about this last week, is I write down 2 or 3 things I'm grateful for. Mm-hmm. So that takes 3 minutes. And then I'll read 10 pages of a book that I'm just interested in. Yeah. Now, I do tend to lean on books that are going to, quote unquote, make me better. Mm. But that doesn't always have to be that case. Yeah. It can be a book that I just enjoy, just for the enjoyment of reading. But 5 to 10 minutes there, and this one might be something that you could apply. 5 to 10 minutes of complete silence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Complete silence. Not a podcast, not anything on, literal silence. This allows for exploration and creativity and profound thinking. The constant noise and connection leads to chronically elevated levels of stress hormones.
Mm-hmm. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then it says, according to the attention restoration theory, when you're in an environment with lower levels of sensory input, the brain can recover some of its cognitive abilities. In silence, the brain is able to let down its sensory guard and restore some of what has been lost through excess noise. They did a study on these rats. Now, they gave these rats 2 hours of literal silence. Nobody has 2 hours to sit there in silence, but they started to see in their brains started generating more cells after 2 hours of complete silence. But they said you can get benefits of that in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
6 minutes of complete silence. And again, I want to reemphasize.
The car drive to work.
Don't count.
Does that
I want
count?
to reemphasize complete. See, and you're like me.
I'm on the phone.
You're like me. You're sitting there thinking, okay, how can I fit this stuff into what I'm already doing so that I can? That's not the key here.
No.
The key here is to intentionally take 5 minutes of complete. What I like to do, and when I've done this in the past, I literally lay on my stomach on the ground, on my hands, my forehead on my hands. And they call it alligator breathing. It's breathing in through your stomach and out through your nose. Or breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And that, after 5 minutes of doing that and just trying not to think about anything, complete silence is so restorative for me.
I know what Darren and I both are going to say. If I do that, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah. Does that count?
Does that count? 5 minutes.
Hey, I'm silent every night from 10:30 p.m. to 4 a.m. I'm doing this. Another thing is 20 to 30 minutes of a hobby. You said you don't have any hobbies. Yeah. I get that. Not everybody has a hobby. Personally, me, I love painting. Again, I haven't done it in a long time. Yeah. But I just love throwing in some music, no words, but instrumental music and just painting.
Yep.
20 or 30 minutes of that.
I can't even imagine.
Isn't that weird?
I cannot.
But I just love exploring that side of my brain that's the artistic and creative, and it just allows it. It's almost nostalgic because it takes me back to when I was a kid, and I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, and it's a great point because we fill our time with so many tasks, so many things to do, and everything becomes a job.
Yeah.
When we're absent of joy, like we are absent of a full healthy model of who we should be, right? And so the hobby deal, I think it's really important. I think 20 to 30 minutes is really short. It's really hard to accomplish that. Because, I mean, think about like a hobby for you is lifting, right? And you're usually doing it like an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
And so I think 20 to 30 minutes, maybe like a creative, but I do think that it's really, really important to find something that you truly find joy in. Whether it's hiking, hunting, kayaking, running, like you've got something that you can go do and you're intentional about it. And it also gives you the ability to say, okay, this is something that I can do sporadically and consistently. but it's also something that I can take. Okay, I'm going to take a 2-day retreat myself.
Right.
I'm going to go get away, and I'm going to go do something that for 2 days it just brings me joy.
Yeah.
Right? Because vacations, it's like, okay,
when
it's
you have
great,
kids,
but I feel more
vacation's not a
tired. I feel more
vacation.
tired when I come back from vacations a lot. But something and by yourself too. Do something, a hobby that you don't need to rely on someone like golfing. I don't need someone that I can go golf with. I would never ever golf by myself ever. I don't like golf enough. But like I could go drive up in the mountains by myself. I could go hike by myself. I could go hunt by myself. There's things that I can do. I could go trim the trees in my backyard by myself. Find something that you enjoy doing, that you are intentionally planning.
That's the case right there. Intentional. Be intentional about it, right? And I think and it's probably some of our listeners that are out there that are a lot like me, is that I'm not intentional enough about doing it. Yeah. Like actually taking the time, whether it be 5 minutes to go sit in the closet and not do anything. Maybe it's like Tyler, you just said it earlier. Like nature is where I feel like, I went hunting 4 months ago, and I told you guys it was the middle of the day. You couldn't hear anything. Like it was the most peaceful time that I've ever had. No one was talking because everybody was hiding, pretty much. Yeah. But it was just like you were just one with, honestly, when you hear that term, you're one with nature. It felt like I could hear the dang crickets and the ants crawling. It was that quiet. It forces you to go there. Yeah.
And I think it's important to note, because Darren, you said you're in a sprint right now. Yeah. Just like anything, you don't have to try to take this all in one bite. Yeah. Right. Start with 5 minutes. Yeah. Literally, start with 5 minutes. If you've never done this before, if you don't do this like you, Darren, tomorrow morning, start with 5 minutes. Yeah. Don't think about anything else. Don't try to do any longer, because 5 minutes is better than no minutes. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So just take 5 minutes. If you're able to give it more time, give it more time. Get out in nature.
So we have a bet. I'll get that 5 minutes. You take Wit out today.
There you go. It's on.
There you go. No, seriously.
It's on.
When are you going to schedule this?
Today.
Salsas and Prosper doesn't count.
The key element is finding a good babysitter. So if you're a babysitter in Prosper, Texas.
We've got one for you.
Hit me up, because we need a babysitter. That's the key element. Is babysitter.
And here's the last thing that I'll say is this device that we have in our hand, as great of a tool as it can be, this can be counterproductive in investing in yourself, is because what it makes you do is it makes you pour out through this into other people all the time. Be intentional about shutting this thing off. So if you've got kids or you get home, be very intentional. If you've got to set an email, we have a colleague that does this. Hey, it's 5 o'clock. I'm spending time with family and my kids. Yeah. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Yeah. And it's like, I want to say that, but I'm like so worried about what they say. But when I read it, I'm like, dude, respect.
Yeah. Ton of
so much respect. Yeah. So turn notifications off, turn things off. The pinging pulls you away. Yep. It's something that I think you'll find a ton of value in, and finding just a sense of peace if you remove this and you put boundaries on your phone as well as your time. Yeah.
Go spend time with yourself.
Yeah.
You'll have a good week.
Yeah. Great show.